Jessie B Scrapbooking, back with another process video, and this one I am doing a double page spread with my Counterfeit kit for the month of April, and I am using a Allison Davis, it's a from one of the classes I took of hers for the double page spreads. So I can't show you the sketch that I am using, but I am using a sketch. And yeah, I've used this one before. I've always really liked it. So this time I don't stick quite as close to the sketch as I have before. I would tell you what sketch number it is, but I can't remember and I'm not home. So, but I am going to, yeah, use this kit for this sketch, and I love this paper. I've been kind of hoarding this paper for quite a while, and so I'm finally going to use it, and then I cover most of it up and I forgot to get it, so that's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. So the first thing I do here is I'm just putting this kind of in the center between the two pages, and I will end up moving that in a second because I wanted it a little bit more onto the right hand page. I thought I was going to use a chunk of this beautiful striped paper, but the longer it was on the page, the more I realized I didn't care for the two colors together. It has more of a reds in it, where the other paper is more of the purples and pinks. So I end up changing that out, but I will use a strip of it still. I'm doing two pictures on this one side here, and actually in the pictures at the end of the video, this picture has been replaced with a different one, but I don't do that until off camera. So this is a picture of my husband, and he was borrowing a French tractor. We went over to a friend of ours who has a gravel pit, and he told him, you know, go ahead and get as much gravel as you need. So we were using his tractor, and we filled up the old pickup with some gravel to make a base for our swimming pool. And so that's what these pictures are. It's just us getting gravel. And this, I love this. It's arrow paper, and so I'm going to use it. I actually will not use this piece that I cut. I put that back in my bag, and then I grab a different piece, a bigger one later. So I'm cutting all these pictures down so that they will all fit on the 8.5 by 11 with room all the way around. And I'm not cutting out anything important, just mainly sky and a little bit of the front of the pickup. And yeah, so I'm going to do a column on the right side of the picture. So on the right side of the layout, there'll be a column of 3 pictures in a row, and then I'll do a little embellishment cluster in one of the corners. So here I'm going, kind of laying this out, and that's when I noticed that you don't see any of that beautiful paper in the background, so I will be moving that over in a second. And yeah, so here's where I was thinking about trying to add this picture in, but it just didn't fit, so that's the one I actually ended up switching out with the second picture beside my husband, but I don't do that on camera, but that is the picture. So I bring in this yellow. I brought it into my kit later. It didn't start off in my kit, but I ended up really wanting a yellow in it, and so I brought this yellow in, and so I'm going to use most of this whole sheet of paper here, and I really like this pop of yellow around all the pictures. I just think it looks really cool. And I'm going to leave that torn edge on the bottom, and I'll do the same thing with this picture of my husband. I'm going to leave that torn edge, or make a torn edge on the bottom of it. I thought about cutting it and I'm like, no, I like that edge. So it just gives it a little bit more softness down there. And that way everything isn't quite so blocky. So getting these pictures down. And then I'm going to mat these ones on the same yellow. And I'm making sure I have a little bit of yellow peeking out between the pictures too, so you can see that it is 3 different pictures, not one big one. Sometimes I like to stick all my pictures really close, and sometimes I like just that little bit of separation in them. So getting this all cut down. If you hear some noise, I'm sorry. I am doing this voiceover at the chiropractor. My husband and my son have gone into the chiropractor, and I'm sitting out in the parking lot doing voiceovers. So if you hear pickups and doors closing and stuff, that's all it is. Okay, so let's see. I am going to use here's where I'm going to move that paper. I only have it tacked down, and so that actually was really nice because it did move very, very easily. And I'm just going to cut about an inch off, and I'm going to put an inch onto the left side paper, right on the edge of it. And then I'm going to put the rest of it over onto the other page. And that's where I should have got it. See how much I'm covering up? So sad. But it's okay. The page got used, the paper got used, and I really like how this actually ends up turning out. So here's where I bring in a bigger section of that. It's a arrow paper, and I like this so much better. I mean, I really liked that pink striped paper, but it just was too wrong colored. Yeah, it just kind of glared, I thought. So in the sketch, there's like stripes down the side. It was for a 12 by 12, so I have to adapt it to work with this size. But I get my stripes done, and I'm liking how that's looking. Here's where I went ahead and I grabbed this one pink that I thought matched pretty good, and it has little yellow flowers in it. And I'm going to put that at the top here. And then I was thinking about running it down the side, so I cut this one. I don't know why I didn't leave that one uncut and put it like this. I was just in the cutting mood. But it doesn't stay like that anyway. This page actually gave me a little bit of a hard time. It just wasn't falling together as easily as I thought it should have. And usually working with a sketch, I have a little bit easier time. But I think it was just my colors weren't adding up the way I wanted them to, and I don't know. But it ends up turning out really good, and I end up really liking it in the end. So I take a strip of this flower print, and I kind of cut around the flowers, making more of a scalloped border, and I like that. And then I'm putting this blue stripe or blue arrow paper down, which, spoiler alert, it doesn't stay there, but it's okay. And I finally commit to my picture placement, and that's done. And then this flowered scallop that I made, and it does stay here, and I'm happy with that there. I really like the way that looks actually. And here's where I switch out and put that original one I cut for up there because it was a little longer and it fit better. So I'm putting that up at the top to bring that color over onto this side. And I have some goobers on my paper. I got that off. And now I'm going to cut just a very thin one stripe of arrows. And I'm putting it on this side to kind of bridge the gap between the two papers. And I'm liking that. And then I'm going to grab this. Oh, first of all, I'm committing to my pictures. So I'm going to put them down. And I didn't pop any of these ones up. I'm leaving everything pretty flat. And then, I'm sorry if I keep saying and then. So the next thing I do is I pull off this strip of arrows down this side, and I'm going to move it up to the top. So now, even though it's the same paper as down below, I'm turning it so the arrows are going sideways instead of up and down. And I really like the way that it looks. It gives it a fun border on top. And then the other piece of paper that I cut off of the flowers, made the scallop, well, it made a really cool different scallop on the other side. So I'm going to add it to the bottom here to give it interest at the bottom, and with that same color. So I'm thinking I'm done with most of my paper stripes and placement now. And the only thing I'm going to do now is add in the banners. There's little banners off onto the side here. I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the sketch. I can't remember if it was banners or a cluster or something, but I decided to go with banners. And so I'm going to put a cluster of like 4 banners over here on the side. And I like the way that it looks once I'm done, but yeah, my measurements were off a little bit. So I have the yellow one as the base, and then I'm going to use one of the circle paper, and the arrow paper, and then a piece of the striped paper. So it kind of have every paper I used in the rest of it, except for that flower print that I used for the scallop. Everything else will be in these little banners, and it just kind of brings them all together. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it, so I'm looking at it going, no, I don't know. But then I add a tag for my journaling onto it, and I really like the way that it all ends up looking together. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to go with it. So I am putting it down here. And I'm running my banners in 2 different directions. And like I said, I don't think this was on the sketch, but I seen it someplace else and I thought it was kind of cool looking, so I wanted to try it. So I put the banners there, and now I find my cut apart that I put in my kit, and I decide to add this pink tag with the butterflies and flowers on it because it was in the right color tones. And I'm going to add that in on top of the banners. To notice that they all of a sudden just appear on the page, and then my screen's going to go black. There it is. And then when the light comes back on, it is different lighting. What happened is our generator died while I was filming this, and so I just left it in to show you just, yeah, this is my life. Everything went dark. I was still able to record, but you know, there was no lights, and so I was able to get it all back on and start recording, and then you'll see the lights turn back on here in a second. So this is what it looks like when I record with just the light from the camera. Not very good, and I'm sorry, but the lights will come back on in a second. And the flowers just appeared on the page because I stopped it for a second to do something. There's the lights back on. And I forgot to push record again when I came back. But yeah, I just put some flower clusters that were in my kit and some butterflies. And I just kind of scattered them around on the page. And I know this page probably has nothing to do with flowers and butterflies, but when I don't know what to add for decoration, I add flowers and butterflies. Yeah, my husband was giving me a hard time because he said this page did not need flowers and butterflies. And he was laughing at me. But that's okay. He said it still turned out very nice. So my title, I put the word dirt down in gold. Alphas I have in my kit, and then I grabbed these tile alphas that I also have in my kit, and I put out the word pool. So my title ends up being Pool Dirt Day, and kind of tells what is going on. And then if you read the journaling, it explains why I have an odd title. And I grabbed some of the word phrase stickers that were in that same kit as the tile alphas, and the picture of my husband. I put my love, and then the other ones are just like love this, and yeah, I don't know, just other things I thought would work for this page. So here are the close-ups. I had a lot of fun making this one. It was a struggle though, but I really ended up liking how it turns out. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.